Hey, all right, happy Tuesday. This is the Secured Entrepreneur Movement, the female edition, and today is Tuesday. This is our accountability call. And for those of you in Facebook land who do not know who I am Aurorah Dey. Today, I really need to talk about these con artists. Okay, now I was delayed yesterday and I shared with you all what was going on with a client of mine who had invested in and with an individual, okay, into a restaurant. He had all of the credentialing, he had all the resources, he was the one that set everything up. He hired all of these, chefs, and he hired a crew, all that stuff. He was responsible for all of that. This other individual turned out to be a very large con artist. Now, I shared with you all yesterday that I had to clear up some things for him, and I ended up at the bank and we opened up another entity, and we were able to manage some things, but he does have a case against this other individual, which he is pursuing this morning, as a matter of fact, as we speak, because this is a very, very serious thing. Now, in the interim of all of this happening yesterday, one of the attorneys that I contract with, Attorney Smith, ends up emailing me someone else's case. Okay, now for all of you, this is specifically for individuals who are doing some type of, you're calling yourself a healer, a light worker, you're in some form of spiritpreneur, you're in some form of you're doing something spiritual, okay, and you're going, or ministry, okay, religious organizations, spiritual organizations, things like this. And I understand that there are seminars or conferences that are geared towards those in the ministry, okay? Now, this particular case that Attorney Smith has emailed to me that I did take a look at this morning, and I did contact the client, and we will talk after this as a matter of fact, okay? The reason why this client came to Attorney Smith is because these individuals went to one of these conferences and they were talked into getting some form of a paperwork, creating some form of entity that they really did not need. And how these con artists really appeal to you psychologically, they start telling you that you will be able to get all kinds of funding. This is about a funding, this is about you're going to get grants, you may get loans, but basically it's about getting free money. So now, if in fact, you're in it to help people, to heal people, whatever it is that you're saying you're in this for some strange reason, these individuals will begin to hook you on, you'll be able to get this grant, you'll be able to get that grant, you'll be able to get X amount of dollars for free. So these individuals go along with whatever program and protocol that these people put in place. They get the paperwork, they go to banks, they open up accounts, okay? But then they really do not know how to operate these entities, because they forget that regardless of whether you're saying you're nonprofit, foundation, whatever it is, whatever heading you're giving yourself, it is still a business. And see, the con artist is not going to explain this to you. Why? Because the con artist has something to gain. When they get you a grant, to which they tell you, okay, we're going to fill out the paperwork and we're going to get you X amount of dollars. But when we get you X amount of dollars, this is the percentage that we are expecting to get once we get you this money. So the con artist is paid. You've got some money. Now, because you are not aware of how the account is structured, you are not aware of how to run the business, what do you begin to do? You start using the money for every other reason than what you got the money for. All right, now, because these accounts are not set up properly at the bank, what does the bank then do? Now, keep in mind, this is not to offend any bank representative, bank teller, because I work with a lot of them who really do know what they're doing, okay? The bank representative does not understand what the heaven they are looking at. You can come in there with a bunch of paperwork. They don't know. You know what they have to do? They're going to fax that paperwork to their legal department. And then they wait for a response from the legal department, okay? The legal department then says, yes, you can open up this account. And sometimes I'll hear the lady say, yes, I see the minutes, I see the resolutions, yes, I see who the trustees are, I see they have the beneficiaries listed here, I see the deed of authority, I see all that. And the woman or man from the legal department will say, okay, yes, you can open up this account. Now, once again, because you're bringing in paperwork that really isn't specifying how you're operating that business, they go and, hey, David, they go and give you a debit card. Now, if your intention is really not pure, if your intention really is not to really understand that business and run that business, operate that business, that ministry properly, you're using the card for whatever you feel you want to use it for. Now, you got this grant. Maybe you got over $100,000. Some people were getting $200,000. I mean, I read all into this. Now you're buying name brand this and that. You're buying things for your home. You're leisurely using this card. Now, I keep telling you, secured entrepreneurs, that the bank is an informant. The bank is not there to help you. The bank is not there to help you make money even, okay? It's all about the interest that they're going to earn once they lend your money out to people who want loans at a high interest rate, okay? Now, it used to be $10,000. Every $10,000 they would report to the Internal Revenue Service. I'm understanding now that it's $5,000, but I'm going to verify that today. I'm going to verify that today. So this particular client now gets a notice from the Internal Revenue Service that they have not filed their 990. Now they're looking at each other saying, well, what the heaven is that? What is that? They don't know. They go to some accountant, and the accountant takes a look at everything and says, listen, I believe that you need the assistance of an attorney because you could be facing some criminal charges. Now they're crapping bricks because they're saying, okay, what kind of crime did we commit that we may be facing some federal charges, okay? Based upon this letter from the Internal Revenue Service asking for this filing and things of this nature, they get referred to Attorney Smith. Attorney Smith says, okay, these are the reasons why you could be facing some federal charges. And he breaks down all of what has occurred there, starting from the way the entity was set up incorrectly, how they misused funds that were given to them for a specific reason having to do with their foundation, okay, which was set up improperly, and registered somewhere that they have no idea what they were supposed to do afterwards, okay, because this is how the con artist works. And now they are left with trying to understand how to put the pieces back together, how to actually keep this foundation going, because they have employees. They have some volunteers, but they really do have employees. Okay, so now how are we going to stop, this situation from getting any worse? All right. So my whole thing is, I too have been to these seminars. I have been to these conferences where right away, even the person who's leading it, that you see all their advertisements here on Facebook, you see them on TV, all of that. And you get to these places and it becomes a multi-pitch fest, okay? And I did sign up for one person's program and I had to cancel 30 days later because I realized that this person has run a confidence game on me. Within the first 30 days, I did not get what I was promised. There was nothing that I could implement to even get a result in the first 30 days. And that's when I said, okay, no, this is going to stop. And I'm asking for a refund. I don't care how the heaven I get it. Now, this has happened to other people and they never get a refund because these people don't intend to run an honest business, to treat you fairly, to actually give you something of substance so that you can go out and create income and profits for yourself, okay? So now all of you who are catching the replay here on Facebook, catching the replay on YouTube, share this video. If in fact you are trying to start a ministry, if in fact you are trying to start a nonprofit, if in fact you are trying to start a foundation, hold yourself accountable for, number one, doing your own research, talking to people who already run successful foundations, successful nonprofits, successful ministries, because the objective really, now y'all know that was Abraham. The objective really and truly is to pay the least amount of tax that you can pay as it relates to this organization, okay? And most of these organizations will be tax exempt. Now, the mistake that this client really made, okay, on top of how crappy this entity was put together, there was a 501c3 filing put in place. Okay, now whenever you ask the Internal Revenue Service for a tax exemption, you now give them permission to be all in your business. You now give them permission to now make inquiries. Okay, you give them permission to now do audits. Okay, and the problem here is that you don't understand how to properly put that entity together to whereas you do not have to ask the Internal Revenue Service for a tax exemption. You are, thank you, David, for the hearts. You are now totally, legally tax exempt. The Internal Revenue Service tells us over 19 publications how, in fact, you are totally 100% tax exempt without you having to ask them to be exempt, okay? So don't get caught up going to these places, okay, getting jacked up by these con artists who, that's right, David, who are taking your money. They are promising you that they're going to get you some money that, number one, you may not need, okay? So you have to now evaluate yourself. What am I really in this for, okay? Because if I'm here for business, you're not going to get me all hyped up and caught up in the game talking about you're about to get me $250,000, especially if I've never dealt with $250,000. And the majority of people who never really have ever seen that type of money in their lifetime, they don't know what to do with it. The con artist is not there to help you allocate the funds properly. The con artist is there to take a large percentage of those funds because he and she and they have already worked out how to actually get you the funding within 30 days or less. And see, that's how they appeal to you. You do due diligence. Ignorance is no excuse. Exactly, okay? So I just want all of the light workers, all of the healers, all of the ministers, okay? All of the prophetesses, okay? All of these, the goddesses, all of these individuals that, I see, online and all of this stuff. I know for a fact that you are going places, you are getting paperwork, and you're going into banks, and you're opening accounts, you're getting debit cards. These type of accounts, you're not supposed to get a debit card. You are only supposed to have the ability to write a check and to receive a check. And let me give you the golden nugget. Here's the golden nugget right here. And this is why these people could be facing some serious charges. Attorney Smith is handling some of the things that is going on. Did you know that when you start these unincorporated associations, because that's the paperwork that these con artists are going to give you, you have a $5,000 limit. There is a spend down. By the end of the year, you should have $5,000 or less in that account, in that non-interest bearing account, okay? These people are getting this money. They're holding on to the money. The money is being reported. Now they're getting inquiries from agencies. What did you do with the money? Where's the account for the money? And when someone gives to your organization, you have the responsibility to give them a donation receipt, a donation letter. But guess what? You didn't even do that. And that's why now you've got these people breathing down your neck, because A plus B is not equaling C. So now you're giving the Internal Revenue Service permission to get some person who doesn't know much more than you to come into your establishment or your home, depending on where you're operating from, to now ask you some probing questions that you cannot answer. And the moment that you cannot answer, here come the charges. Now you have to be all up in tax court trying to figure out, not only tax court, because as I'm saying, these people who give you the money, oh Lord, I wish I could read this letter to you from the organization who gave this couple this large amount of money. They now want to know what has happened. We see that you have not utilized the funds properly, okay? They are looking at some serious stuff. So please, Hold yourself accountable for understanding what it is that you are getting into. And if in fact you are truly aiming to help people, do not go to these places and fall into these traps where you're getting crappy paperwork. If in fact you want to start a ministry, you want to start a nonprofit, you want to start a foundation, first of all, get the language right. Somebody emailed me talking about they want to incorporate their ministry. You don't even know. You have no idea. And it has to do with the fact that you've been listening to the wrong people. 9 times out of 10, some con artist company. All right. So I am Aurorah Dey. If you know any light workers, healers, goddesses, all these people who give themselves these titles in the spiritual realm and they're doing spiritual work, share this video. All right. I'm Aurorah Dey. You can find these juicy goodies at millionairesecretstrategies.club, AurorahDeyConsulting.com, Aurorah Dey Consulting right here on Facebook. And if you are seeing this on YouTube or a replay on Facebook land and you haven't come over here to the Secured Entrepreneur Movement, the female edition, make that decision today. Make it happen today. If you are a male, as you can see, I have 2 lovely, beautiful, handsome, and I bet they smell fine, men who support us. You can come over here and join us here at the Secured Entrepreneur Movement, the female edition as well. Until tomorrow, looking rested. Yes, I did. I did get a lot of rest last night. Thank you, David Breslow. Until tomorrow, I love you all. Ta-ta.